Thanks everybody for coming out. I have to say I'm humbled so many of you traveled from so far. You know, we got a little upstaged by the museum project that got canceled today, so the press is distracted and going in another direction, but we'll continue to work this, and they'll hear more and more about us, and you'll see it more publicly as we go on. But I am proud to take the job as president and CEO of the Bluegrass Institute. It's a fine organization. It's done a lot of great work since 2002. Chris Deary founded this organization because he was upset about a tax hike at the state level. And what he saw was the fact that really the press didn't talk about it openly. There wasn't any transparency, and people just didn't understand what was going on. And it was a true prelude to the Tea Party movement, the other liberty groups that have popped up. And he did a great job of starting the Bluegrass Institute, generating interest, and turning it into a think tank. And Rick Lowry followed him as president, did a fine job for several years, and we're thankful to both of these guys for everything that they've done. But you know, the market has changed since then. You know, since 2002, the size and scope and the spending at the government level has exploded. A bunch of people that were watching TV in 2002 doing nothing, but had good common sense and wanted to do things, popped up as the Tea Party just a couple of years ago. Those are huge changes in the dynamics that are out there today, and I thank God that happened. But we've got an opportunity now with the Bluegrass Institute to repurpose our organization from a think tank to a do tank. And what we mean by that is we have business people that are very focused on running their business, growing their businesses, taking care of their customers, and they don't have the time to put the day-to-day work out there to affect government as individuals. But we have the Bluegrass Institute that brings great intellectual capital, great organizational skills, but hasn't been active in terms of bringing specific results back to the state. They've been changing the conversation, which is what think tanks do. And then we have the liberty organizations that have the passion and the organizational skills that the rest of us wish we had. And the combination of those three things coming together, we can actually fight against bad government at all levels, state, federal, local, and we can fight for things like free markets and limited government and less spending, the types of things that we see all the time at the federal level. And I'm pleased to be part of that, and we'll be happy to work with all of you. Now, I duly respect, and Paul's absolutely correct, every liberty group is independent and gets to choose what they do and when they do it, and that will continue to be the case because there isn't anything any of us can do to change that. So what we have to do, though, and I've noticed with liberty groups that what's fantastic about them is when they all believe in something, a core principle, they fight in their own way to get that done. And we will stay within those core principles. Every mission that we take on, we're going to take through what we call liberty filter, meaning that it's going to have to fight for free markets, job creation, smaller government, less spending, all the things that we believe in. And if it doesn't, we will not take that on as an initiative. But if we do, we're going to come talk to you guys and talk about how we can coordinate if you guys want to buy in and move on. The business community is very interested in this. The EPA is killing our coal industry. They're throttling our farmers. I don't know if you heard, but a recent regulation came out to where you had to have a commercial driver's license, a CDL, to drive farm equipment on your own property. Now, goodness gracious, how about saying something like that? They are in, I mean, if you can't drive a tractor on your own property without the government telling you when to do it and how to do it, what can you do in this country? Those are the types of things we're going to stand up and fight. And together we can be more powerful than the left. The left has unions, they have political action committees, and they have politicians that will do anything they tell them to do. Now on the right in Kentucky, we're going to have that same type of organizational skills where we can put more pressure at the right levels to get the changes made that need to happen in Kentucky to make us the freest, most prosperous state we've ever known, and get rid of that lousy ranked last in the country ranking that Kentucky has. We're going to fight hard to do that. I thank all of you for coming out. I want to specifically thank the board members of Vince, Kathy Gornick is our chairman, does a wonderful job. Warren Rogers is on the board, and one thing I want to point out about the Bluegrass Institute that makes us much different than most organizations. Everybody on the board is a small business person. We're not intellectuals. We're not out of the university class or out of Harvard or Yale. We're all out there working hard, growing our businesses, fighting the fight that you have in the economy every day. And I know many of you that are here today are very similar to that. So I thank you for coming. If anybody has any questions, I would love to take them. Anybody? No questions? I explained that further. Yes, Rick.
Do you have an initial initiative? Are you going to take on the EPA, or what's the first?
Well, that is a great question, Rick. We're going to be working over the next 2 to 3 weeks with the business community to come up to fashion that first mission. So what I would like to ask of you guys going forward is think about business people in your community, companies that are liberty-oriented or led by people that are liberty-oriented, and get us appointments to sit down and talk with them about the new structure of BIPs and the alliance that we have with the liberty groups. And let's start generating the buzz we need to have. Because business buy-in is as important as the liberty group buy-in on this. And that'll fashion our initial missions. And as long as it makes it through the liberty filter, we'll stay true to form, be that rock on principle in the stream and not flowing with it. We will be able to do that and affect Kentucky well. Any other questions? Thank you all very much for coming out today. I apologize that the press didn't come, but honestly, I can't apologize for them. I have no control over it. So, but if anybody's interested in going to get a bite to eat, let's grab some lunch somewhere and talk about this more. I would love to do it. Thanks again, everybody.